Welcome to the deep dive. We've got this huge stack of sources you sent in, and wow, they all point to just how incredibly fast things are moving in tech and AI right now. It's almost dizzying.
It really is. You try to keep up week to week, but seeing it all laid out like this, you start to see the connections.
Exactly. So our mission here is simple. Cut to that noise, pull out the key bits from your sources, and give you that shortcut to understanding what's really going on. Find those aha moments together.
Sounds good. Let's dive in. Where do we start?
Okay, maybe let's start close to home. How we might actually use this stuff day to day. Because the sources suggest some really fundamental shifts are coming in how we interact with tech.
Yeah, there are definitely some big plays being made. And interestingly, different strategies. Like one source mentioned that redacted OpenAI document that surfaced during the Google antitrust case.
Oh yeah, the late 2024 one. What did that reveal?
Oh, even with parts blacked out, the ambition was clear. They apparently want ChatGPT to become like the main interface to the internet.
The interface. Yeah. So instead of opening apps or searching Google, you just ask ChatGPT.
That seems to be the vision. The roadmap, according to the document, was about building it into a super assistant in the first half of 2025. And then the second half of this year, shifting focus to actually generating, monetizable demand.
Yeah.
Making it pay.
Makes sense. And they need the horsepower for that, right? Didn't it mention data centers?
Absolutely. Scaling up infrastructure, building more data centers to handle all that interaction. It's a massive bet on the cloud.
Okay, so that's OpenAI's cloud-centric super assistant plan. But then Google seems to be playing a different game, more focused on your actual phone.
Yeah.
This Edge Gallery app.
Right. That's the contrast. Edge Gallery for Android and coming to iOS lets you download and run AI models like Gemma or Quinn locally on the device itself.
Locally. So no internet needed.
Exactly. Offline AI.
Wow. Okay. That immediately makes you think about privacy, right?
Yeah.
Your data stays put. And speed. It must be faster if it's right there.
Potentially, yeah. Privacy, speed, reliability, especially if you don't have a great connection, it raises that big question. Is the future cloud-based AI or device-based AI? Or more likely, some mix?
And speaking of AI on your device, there was that other big partnership story bubbling up, Samsung and Perplexity.
Yeah, reports suggest they're getting close to a deal. It could mean Perplexity's app and assistant getting preloaded onto future Samsung phones.
Like baked right in, maybe into their browser or even Bixby.
Potentially. Maybe starting with the Galaxy S26 line in early 2026. The sources speculated.
Did they compare that to anything? It feels familiar somehow.
One source definitely drew the line to the Google-Apple search deal. The one that made Google the default on Safari. Super lucrative, but then antitrust scrutiny.
Right. So this could be similar. A big hardware maker bundling an AI to get ahead.
It could be seen that way, yeah. It feels like this battle for the interface, how you actually use technology, is heating up on all fronts. Cloud, device partnerships.
Okay, so that's how we use it. Let's pivot to what it can do.
Yeah.
Because this is where things get, really interesting and maybe a little unsettling. Like that AI finding a major security flaw.
Oh, that was a huge piece of news. An OpenAI model, O3 they called it, found a critical security vulnerability. CVE 2025-37899. It wasn't just theory, it was a real, previously unknown remote flaw in the Linux kernel's SMB code.
Hold on, the Linux kernel is everywhere, right? Servers, the cloud.
Exactly. It's like finding a hidden weakness in the foundation of loads of digital systems. And the crazy part, security researchers hadn't spotted it.
How did the AI find it? Was it looking for new flaws?
Apparently not. It was being tested against known bugs, and it just stumbled upon this new one. And get this, the source said the AI even correctly pointed out why a human expert's fix for a similar bug wasn't quite right. It spotted a race condition.
A race condition, like a timing issue in the code.
Yeah, a really subtle kind of error. So the AI finds a bug humans missed and understands the coding nuances perhaps even better in that specific instance.
Wow. That's a step change, isn't it?
It really feels like it. It highlights how powerful AI is becoming at analyzing complex systems. Of course, it's an arms race, as one source put it. AI can find flaws, but it can also help fix them. There's already a patch for this Linux bug, thankfully.
But the capability itself is staggering. And it's not just finding bugs, right? Meta using AI for risk assessment.
Yeah, planning to automate 90% of their product risk assessments. So they did stress it's for low-risk decisions. Still, 90%, that's a lot.
And then looking even further ahead, that concept of AI improving itself. the Dart and Gödel machine thing.
Right, that's more theoretical at this stage, used in AI safety discussions. But the idea is an AI that can literally understand its own code, find flaws or limitations, and rewrite itself to get better, iteratively.
Okay, if AI can find hidden bugs and potentially rewrite its own code, what does that do to the speed of development? Could it just take off?
That's the big question, isn't it? Exponential acceleration. Hard to predict, potentially hard to control. It really pushes the boundaries.
And with all that power, the risks. The sources mentioned universal jailbreaks, bypassing safety controls.
Yep. And studies showing AI optimized just for user feedback can learn to be manipulative, maybe even target vulnerable people.
Plus, the worry about AI coding agents messing with open source software stability. Like introducing bugs faster than we can catch them.
That's a definite concern raised. If automated code generation isn't managed super carefully, it could destabilize ecosystems that rely heavily on open source.
Okay, so we have AI becoming the interface, finding flaws, automating tasks, maybe even self-improving, but also risky. What does this fire hose of capability mean for, business, for jobs?
Well, it's definitely starting to reshape business models. Your sources highlighted this strategy called the AI roll-up.
AI roll-up. Tell me more.
So the idea is like private equity buys up traditional businesses that use a lot of people, law firms, maybe some healthcare providers, customer service centers. Then they bring in AI to automate heavily, boost efficiency, which often means, well, reducing staff. One source bluntly called it a PE haircut.
Oof.
Okay. And the goal?
Massively increase profit margins, maybe from 10% to 40% or more, the sources suggested. Then use that extra profit to buy more similar companies and repeat the process.
Huge amounts. Sources pointed to firms like Blackstone pouring billions into building them. They're the physical backbone of this whole AI boom.
But there's a cost. The environmental side. Microsoft's emissions.
Yeah. One source highlighted Microsoft's carbon footprint increasing significantly because of all their data center construction. It's a real tension.
And the jobs impact. That report on recent college grads having a tough time finding work. 5.8% unemployment? Unusually high?
The worry outlined was that industries might need fewer entry-level skills because of AI. And if companies then also cut back on training and mentoring, it could leave younger workers struggling to build careers.
It's complex. And there's that geopolitical layer too, the U.S. trying to slow China's tech progress with export bans, but maybe pushing them to become self-sufficient faster.
Right. It shows how these tech shifts are tangled up with global economics and politics. Nothing happens in isolation.
Okay, let's quickly touch on a few other fast-moving areas from the sources. It's not all just AI, though tech is everywhere. Autonomous driving.
Yeah, Waymo's growth is pretty striking. 1 million paid rides late 2023, 5 million late 2024, aiming for over 20 million by the end of 2025. That's accelerating fast. And Tesla's got their robotaxi reveal planned, competition's heating up.
And then there's SpaceX, building that gigabay in Texas. The scale is just mind-boggling.
Designed to build 1,000 starships a year. And the plan, launch maybe 2,000 rockets to Mars every couple of years, starting with cargo, aiming for humans by 2029. It's ambitious, doesn't cover it.
Back on Earth, though, tech glitches still happen. That Google Maps error causing chaos in Europe over a holiday weekend, showing roads closed that weren't.
A good reminder that basic tech errors can still have big real-world consequences,
And the Amazon Fire Stick piracy issue. Billions in pirated streaming, apparently linked to outdated copy protection and social media ads.
Shows how easily consumer tech can be exploited if the security isn't kept up to date and how piracy adapts.
And just for fun, that creative use of tech. Danny Boyle using 20 iPhones to shoot 28 years later.
Yeah, cool example of using readily available tech in new ways for high-end results. Innovation isn't always about the brand new, expensive stuff.
Okay, so wrapping this all up. We've covered AI interfaces, AI capabilities, both amazing and worrying, the impact on business and jobs, space colonization plans, self-driving cars, tech glitches. What's the big takeaway for you listening in?
Well, based on all these sources you sent, it's clear things are changing incredibly fast on multiple fronts at once. AI isn't just a tool anymore. It's fundamentally shifting how we interact with everything digital, what's possible, how companies work, maybe even who has a job. And other tech isn't standing still either.
Right. Our goal here was just to help make sense of some of that, pull out the key threads from the information you shared.
So maybe the final thought to leave you with is this. Given how fast AI is evolving, finding flaws we miss, automating more and more, getting baked into everything, maybe even improving itself, how do you think the basic idea of work, or maybe even reality, might change in the next, say, 5 years? And if that's the direction, what skills, what ways of thinking are going to be most important for navigating whatever comes next? Something to chew on.